Good Friday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace for this Friday, March 31st, last day of the month, and weather stick is red. And so are the graphics. You can see your heads up down there at the bottom of the screen. That tells you kind of everything you need to know in a nutshell as to the severe weather risk that we're looking at for especially later today and tonight, overnight hours even. You're going to need to keep your weather radio on and plug in your devices like your phone. Make sure it's plugged in and ready to go just in case you do get some warnings. Uh, have your weather radio ready, have it turned on just in case. It is conditional as far as the threat for severe weather, conditional in that this round of showers and thunderstorms that we're getting right now, and there's not very many thunderstorms, but there's a lot of rain that is pushing through here at about 10 minutes before 5 a.m. on this Friday morning. There's this round that's coming through, and then we're going to get a bit of a break, and it's in between this round and what's coming this evening as to whether we get a rough evening or a rough night ahead of us with the system coming in. This is just the first wave of activity that's pushing through as a warm front. You see it right there is kind of off to our east now. So now everything is opened up. Gulf of Mexico moisture. We're getting just several streams of energy pushing through the area. The heaviest rains are now kind of east of Interstate 65 and moving over toward Interstate 75 to the east. Then you just see a lot of scattered showers back here to the west. Those two will be diminishing as we go through the morning. There may be a rumble of thunder. I've seen a couple of lightning strikes, but nothing severe is expected this morning out of this. It's what's going to come later that could be an issue come later tonight and during the overnight hours. So this is all kind of a preparation of what's to come or what's anticipated to come. And so I just want you to be ready for whatever happens. So the Storm Prediction Center, keeping with their outline here of what we're looking at as far as weather potential or severe weather potential tonight, as it says here in the headline, damaging straight line wind gust, isolated tornadoes are the main threats. Medium confidence here. So again, it's conditional in that between the round of showers that we're getting right now and what comes this afternoon and this evening, if we get a lot of sun breaking through, that adds to the instability and that further fuels the severe weather threat come tonight. And so that is the outlier, if you will, for now. We'll just have to see how this develops. But we're still pretty much Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky, along and east of 65 is that level 2 slight risk in the yellow. But if you live along and west of 65 or west of Bowling Green, Owensboro, Madisonville, even Logan County, Christian County, Paducah, those areas, that is a level 3 enhanced risk. There's a greater risk for seeing a few tornadoes in that orange shaded area. But then you see these two red areas, that's a level 4 moderate risk. And that is where the highest threat for damaging winds and tornadoes is going to be today up around Davenport, Iowa, the Quad Cities, Quincy, Illinois, Peoria. And then there's this circle down across far southwestern Kentucky over toward Wickliffe, down toward Dyersburg, Tennessee, Jackson, and the NOAA logo covers up Memphis, but Memphis is right in the bullseye of the possibility of seeing some tornadoes today. So those are the highest risk areas. We're kind of in the middle of the threats here. So again, It's one of those times where we have to see how this is going to play out today to see exactly what's going to develop later tonight. If we can keep a lot of clouds in here today and we can keep the sun from breaking through for several hours, then I think we'll be okay, even though it will be gusty showers later tonight when the cold front comes through. It won't be severe in nature, or hopefully it won't be severe. So that's the conditional risk that we're looking at right here. And the winds, regardless, as we've seen the last 4 or 5 Fridays in a row, the winds are still going to be there. And here's a look at the windy.com map. And I'll go through this and show you winds starting out this morning. Here we are about gust of 20 miles per hour later this morning. You can see the winds. And here's the timeline down at the bottom of the screen: 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Wind's not all that bad. Occasional gust of 20. And then it starts to pick up 9, 10 o'clock tonight. We get some higher gust of 30. Here we are at midnight. Then Saturday morning into Saturday itself, there's going to be these breezy winds that continue to push through from time to time. Not as bad, I don't think, as last Saturday, but there will be, especially in the late afternoon hours, some gusts to 20 to 30. It's certainly possible. So that's something to watch. It's like last Saturday, we had the stormy weather on Friday. Saturday turned out to be a good looking day, but that wind was, if you had to be outdoors like I did, it was brutal. I mean, the winds was just picking up and blowing stuff around, gusts to 40, 50 miles per hour. And even though it doesn't show that here, it is still possible. Yes, even tomorrow, it's still possible that we could have some wind gust of even tonight, 40, 50 miles per hour, especially if we get stronger storms. That is a real possibility. So, regardless of whether we get tornadoes or not, the thing that we're going to have to watch out for, number one, damaging wind potential. So, keep that in mind. If you've got, right now, while the winds are calm, if you've got anything outdoors that you need to bring in or tie down or secure before you head off to work this morning, take care of it now, because by the time we get into some of these thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, there won't be time to take care of that stuff. It's going to be blowing around pretty good. Okay, let's get into the 10-day blender, and I'll show you what's coming up for the next 10 days. We go 72 today with those winds becoming gusty and then occasional showers and thunderstorms, especially as we get into tonight. And look, the lows are only going to be in the mid and upper 50s in most cases. Tomorrow will cool down just a bit with those gusty winds left over after the storms move out, 65 or so. Then we go low 60s and even a little bit of a chill Saturday night into Sunday morning. Maybe enough for some patchy frost in a couple of spots, but not widespread, I don't think. After that, we shoot back into the 70s on Monday and 80 expected on Tuesday. And that's when the next system comes in with another threat for maybe some severe weather. So that will have to be watched as well. And then after that, we see some 70s on Wednesday. Then we stay mostly 60s to near 70, but nothing out of the ordinary. This is we're getting into that time of the year where the average high temperature is in the mid to upper 60s. In fact, the average high yesterday, 65. We hit 70. We hit 70 yesterday in Bowling Green. And of course, that's 5 degrees above the average of 65. So yesterday was a very nice day with the temperatures hitting 70 degrees. We're going to do better than that today. And we're also going to get a lot more humidity. You'll be able to tell later on today, maybe even now. I haven't stepped out yet, but it's raining now, as you see on the radars behind me. There's a little bit more humidity in the air, and there will be a little bit more. The dew points are going to go up today, and that is the fuel that is needed to develop strong to severe storms. Heavy rain is not as much of a threat as we thought it was going to be at the beginning, but still, the threat of some heavy downpours is certainly uh, there for today, tonight, and early on Saturday. Let's check current temperatures now as of, I'm looking at my clock here, 5 a.m. We just hit 5 a.m. on this finally Friday. So temperatures, Kentucky Mesonet Network showing mainly 50s. There's a couple of 60s, southeastern Kentucky. And over toward western Kentucky, we're in the low to mid 50s here, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. You know, you get the idea of temperatures. Let's see how much rain has fallen so far. Yeah, we've picked up 1600ths of an inch of rain at the Mesonet site up near the Corvette plant this morning, and then 800ths, almost a tenth of an inch, at the Mesonet site near the Ag Expo Center. Hardly anything in central Kentucky. It's all been northwestern and western Kentucky and southern Kentucky. But already like 4/10 of an inch of rain over toward, looks like Madisonville. Yep. And then you've got a half inch of rain up there in Henderson County, Henderson, Kentucky. Half inch of rain already. That's where some of the heaviest rains have been falling. You saw that on radar. Now some of that is beginning to move into central Kentucky. So some of these stations will begin to pick up some of that rainfall here very shortly. So, yeah, we could end up with an inch or two by the time this is done tomorrow morning. Some locations will see some heavier downpours of rain. It all depends on where those heaviest pockets of rain and the strongest storms set up. Anytime you have stronger storms or even a severe storm, you're more likely to get heavier amounts of rain. All right, let's take a look at the model maps here. And you can see how this is the high res map. You can see how we've got this big plume of warmer air that's covering a good chunk of the eastern half of the United States. Gulf of Mexico open up for business, and you get your low pressure system. You see how tight that thing is. Look at all those isobars tightly packed there. Those are the winds that we're going to feel here. And so there's a trailing cold front that's south of that, and there's a bit of a dry line ahead of it. And so all this is the perfect setup for a spring-like severe weather event. So here's our shower activity pushing through this morning. We'll see that continue, and then a break as we get into the afternoon hours. There may be a spotty shower here and there. So 1600 UTC time, that's about 9 o'clock this morning. No, 11 o'clock this morning. So here, this is about midday. We'll see some of these showers continuing to push off in the flow to the north and east of us. And there's that little break we'll have to watch for any sunshine coming through. And then here's the low, and then here's the line. These are what we call discrete supercells. Now, this is where it's really going to, this timing here is going to be 2200 hours. That's 5 o'clock our time, Central Time, this afternoon. And what we'll have to watch is, number one, do we see a lot of sun coming through between late this morning, about 11 o'clock, lunchtime, to about 5 o'clock this afternoon? If we see a lot of sun breaking through the clouds, all bets are off, and we're almost guaranteed to get severe weather tonight. Now, I know it will be after dark, but that sun will fuel the energy, that fuel that's there. The abundant moisture, there's wind shear, we've got low-level jets, we've got the main jet stream, we've got the front providing lift. All the ingredients will be there to put this severe weather scenario together. Now, how strong it will be for us is the big question mark. If we get enough sunshine to fuel that lift and to fuel that strength needed, convective energy for the storms, then, like I said, all bets are off tonight. We could have more than just strong to severe storms. We could have a few tornadoes. They could be brief little spin ups, or they could be actual, you know, more destructive type tornadoes. But from what we're seeing and from what I'm seeing and putting together, just word of caution, uh, some warnings are certainly possible. I would certainly would expect maybe a tornado watch go into effect, especially west of Bowling Green later this evening and into the overnight hours. I know I hate it just as much as you do. I would rather be in bed, asleep, and not worrying about this stuff, or not really worrying, but, being concerned about it. I'd rather just be in bed asleep and everybody's okay. But if I have to be up, you have to be up, and we're watching this because it's a greater threat than what we first thought, then we're going to be up and we're going to be watching this. I'll be up watching it, covering it here on the SAM channel and on the radio if conditions warrant. If it's just a lot of wind and thunderstorms, I'm just going to leave it, let it play. That's the way I do this. I'm not going to be on here warning for every single warning that's just because of high wind and rain. I mean, you already know that's coming. I've prepared you for about a week now that regardless of whether we get tornadoes or not, we're going to get damaging wind. So there's going to be sporadic power outages. There's going to be some trees down again. You're going to have some roof issues again. And probably your roof is still not fixed yet. And you're saying, Amen, hallelujah, but what else can I do? It's nature, right? That's what it is. So I'm sorry that you're going to have to deal with this again, but here we are. So this is about 5 o'clock. This is when the telltale signs will be here as to whether we're going to get a more pronounced severe weather event with tornadoes or whether it's just going to be straight line winds and rain and thunder and lightning. So this will be key about 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. And here we go. We're showing some individual cells, but the main line will start to take shape after that. So all of these will start to congeal with this line as we get the forcing, the low level jet, the energy from the Gulf of Mexico. All this will become more what we call linear, more of a line of thunderstorms coming through. Here we are at 7 o'clock or so this evening. We'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms. Actually, that may help if they're not discrete supercells. If they're just showers and thunderstorms, that will actually help cut down on the instability because we'll have clouds and rain. That's good news. But by that time, it will be close to dark. And so that's why this is going to be a tricky thing to watch. And here comes the line as this thing just all comes together. And you see this area of rain and energy coming together with this piece of energy. This is 10 p.m. tonight. After that, I think close to the midnight hour or just before is when the line's going to come through the Bowling Green area and southern Kentucky. And then it will move on after midnight to the east of us, still pretty potent, still pretty hefty as it comes on through. And so let's just kind of cross our fingers that we don't get a lot of instability today in between what's going on this morning. You see on the radar, both radars, that one too, that's going on right now, and what's going to come in this afternoon. That will be the key to what happens later tonight. Okay, the maps real quick. I know I'm running about 20 minutes here. I didn't want to go too long today, but I want to get all this in for those of you interested. And that's why I put that heads up down at the bottom of the screen. It kind of tells you everything to be aware of and to prepare. So we've got the warm air fetch coming in now, the first round of showers and storms. You can see the red shaded areas. That's where we've got to watch, including western Kentucky, for more of an enhanced risk, and in some cases, a moderate risk for severe weather, tornadoes, and severe storms. Here we go into 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this evening. Still that red area. Otherwise, heavy rain, thunderstorms, very gusty winds. You can see the isobars tightly packed. Lots of wind. It's a Friday. It's got to be windy. So it seems that way here lately, doesn't it? Every Friday, wind, rain, storms. There you go. Still some leftover activity as we get into early Saturday until the cold front passes by. There's a secondary front, but actually that's just going to help usher in temporarily cooler air for the day Saturday. But still, look, the winds are still there. And this is, like 7 a.m. Saturday morning, still tightly packed isobars. It's going to be a windy Saturday. The sun will come out. But like last Saturday, it's going to be windy, as I showed you, 30, 40 mile per hour wind gust through the day. And then it settles down for Sunday. And here we go into Monday and Tuesday, the next system. And this is another big one coming across the plains, cranking up, more wet weather, more wind. And it's not on a Friday. How about that? What's wrong with this picture? But rain, thunderstorms, wind, same old thing, but on a different day. My goodness. So, next 24 hours is going to be kind of crazy, bumpy, even around here. Big question mark as to whether we get severe weather tonight or will it just be gusty showers. Nonetheless, be prepared. Turn your weather radios on. Keep your devices charged in case you lose power. Somebody is going to lose power with those kind of winds and the loose ground from the rains and all that. Somebody's going to lose power, and you need to be able to keep up with the weather. Turn your weather radios on and keep it here to SAM 100.7 and the SAM channel. And I'll come on if necessary, if, things get really crazy tonight. No matter what time it is, I'll be up and I'll be watching it. All right, you guys, I'm headed to the radio station, SAM 100.7, to do the morning show. Otherwise, God bless you. Have a great day, a safe day. Be aware, always, as I've said before, know the weather before it knows you. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the radio.